If you are between the ages of 65 and 80, I want you to lean in for a moment, because what I am about to share could genuinely affect the quality of your life in ways you may not yet realize. I say this not to alarm you, but to open a door of awareness, to offer a perspective that could help you live not just longer, but better. I have sat with thousands of patients over the decades. I have listened to their stories. I have studied their habits. And there is one particular behavior that tends to sneak into our routines in later years. It often feels harmless, even comforting, but it comes with consequences that most do not see coming. That habit is daytime sleeping. Yes, I mean those short naps that become longer over time, the ones that stretch from a 20-minute doze into an hour, then sometimes two. And before we know it, we're waking up in the late afternoon feeling more tired than we were before we closed our eyes. Now let me be clear, the issue is not about the occasional nap. A short, structured rest during the day can be rejuvenating. It's when napping becomes a regular, extended pattern that we begin to see real problems surface. You see, our body runs on an internal clock. Scientists call it the circadian rhythm. Think of it as your body's natural timing system, and it tells you when to feel awake and when to feel sleepy. In younger years, that clock is resilient, but as we age, the rhythm becomes more sensitive to changes. Taking long naps during the day can confuse this delicate system, and when it gets thrown off balance, everything else starts to suffer. Your sleep at night becomes fragmented. You start waking up multiple times. You lie in bed staring at the ceiling. You may fall asleep at 2 in the morning and wake up groggy. It becomes a cycle, a frustrating one, and slowly it chips away at your energy, your memory, and even your mood. Research has been incredibly clear on this. A major study published in the journal Alzheimer's and Dementia followed over 1,000 elderly adults. They found that those who regularly napped during the day for more than an hour were significantly more likely to develop cognitive decline. In fact, the data showed that excessive daytime sleeping could be one of the earliest signs of brain changes that lead to dementia. Another study from the University of California, San Francisco, tracked more than 2,600 older adults. They discovered that those who napped daily were nearly 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease than those who did not. These are not just numbers. These are real people, grandfathers, mothers, friends. And the reality behind the research is clear. Daytime sleep, especially when it becomes excessive or unintentional, may not be a harmless indulgence. It might be a silent alarm that something deeper is happening in the brain. But why does this happen? What's the mechanism behind it? The brain has something called the sleep switch. It's controlled by an area deep in the hypothalamus. When we are exposed to daylight and maintain active routines, this switch functions smoothly. But prolonged naps during the day disrupt this rhythm. They confuse the brain into thinking the day is already over. As a result, the nighttime sleep cycle begins late. That delay affects deep sleep. And deep sleep is not just rest, it is restoration. It is during this phase that our brain clears out waste proteins. It is the only time when cells regenerate. Without enough deep sleep, toxins build up in the brain. One of those toxins is beta amyloid, a protein strongly linked with Alzheimer's. So in essence, poor sleep hygiene driven by day sleeping slowly deteriorates the very brain we rely on for memory, thinking, and identity. But the effects do not stop with the brain. Daytime sleeping can weaken the body. Older adults who nap frequently tend to be more sedentary. They miss meals, they skip walks, their metabolism slows down. Over time, this leads to weight gain, poor circulation, and muscle atrophy. A large study from Harvard University's School of Public Health examined the link between daytime napping and mortality risk. The findings were sobering. Seniors who napped more than an hour each day had a significantly higher risk of cardiovascular events. Their hearts grew weaker, their arteries stiffer, their insulin response faltered. What this tells us is that daytime napping, while seemingly peaceful, can set off a quiet domino effect that touches every system in the body. I remember one patient clearly. Her name was Mina. She was 72 when she came to see me, a vibrant woman once, full of warmth and energy. But over the course of a year, she had become more withdrawn. Her daughter brought her in, saying she had become forgetful and spent most afternoons sleeping in her chair. Mina insisted she was just tired. But when we looked deeper, we saw that her nighttime sleep had deteriorated. She was awake for hours at night. Her cognition had slipped. Blood sugar levels were erratic. We helped her build a structured routine. Short walks in the morning, exposure to natural light, limited caffeine, a maximum of 20 minutes of rest in the early afternoon, only if truly needed. Within 2 months, her mental clarity returned. Her eyes lit up again. That change did not come from medication. It came from reclaiming the rhythm of rest. Now, I know some of you might say, "But doctor, I feel tired during the day. What am I supposed to do?" And that is a fair question. First, we must understand why that fatigue exists. Daytime sleepiness can often point to poor sleep quality at night. Sometimes it's undiagnosed sleep apnea, a condition where breathing repeatedly stops during sleep. Other times it's depression or side effects from medications. It's essential to work with a physician to uncover the root cause. Don't mask the problem with a nap. Solve it from within. Second, adopt sleep hygiene practices. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Keep your bedroom cool and dark. Avoid heavy meals before sleep. Turn off screens at least 1 hour before bed. And perhaps most importantly, get morning sunlight. That one act alone can reset your body clock like nothing else. If you absolutely must nap, keep it short, no longer than 20 minutes, and never after 4 in the afternoon. A brief rest can enhance alertness, but anything beyond that drifts into deep sleep territory, and that makes it harder to fall asleep later, which continues the vicious cycle. What I am sharing with you is not a list of do's and don'ts. It is a path toward feeling alive again. Because sleep is not just a break from the day, it is a biological necessity. It is how the body heals, how the brain organizes memory, how the heart slows and repairs, how the immune system strengthens. Every hour of sleep you reclaim at night adds clarity to your days. It adds strength to your muscles. It lifts the fog from your mind, and it brings a sense of joy that no pill can provide. Let me offer you one more image. Think of your body as an orchestra. The lungs, the brain, the heart, the muscles, they are the instruments. But the conductor of this orchestra is sleep. If that conductor falls out of rhythm, the entire performance falters. But when the rhythm is steady, when night sleep is long and deep and day rest is short and rare, the entire body plays in harmony. That harmony is your health. That harmony is your freedom. So if you are 65 or 70 or even 80 and you find yourself drifting into sleep every afternoon, ask yourself gently, why am I tired? Then look at your nights. Look at your routines. Speak to your doctor. Take the time to nourish the parts of you that may need repair. Because you deserve to wake up each day with energy, with focus, with peace. Do not let daytime sleep rob you of the very hours you have been gifted. The final truth is this. You cannot buy back time, but you can protect it. You can protect your evenings by honoring your days. You can protect your mind by choosing rest over routine napping. You can protect your health by staying engaged, by walking in sunlight, by having conversations, by breathing in the full stretch of the day. And when you do lie down at night, you'll sleep deeply, naturally, completely, as nature intended. And when morning comes, you'll rise with purpose, with memory intact, with your heart steady, and with your life still fully yours. Could daytime sleepiness be a warning sign of something serious? Could daytime sleepiness be a warning sign of something serious? That is a question I want to explore with you very carefully. Because if you are between the ages of 65 and 80, and you find yourself drifting off during the day more often than not, it may not just be about being tired. It may be your body whispering to you that something deeper is happening, something that deserves attention. I do not say this to worry you. I say this because I have seen too many people ignore this signal. They brush it off as part of aging, as just a harmless nap after lunch. But in many cases, it is not harmless. It is a clue. And when we follow that clue, we can sometimes uncover and treat conditions that might otherwise remain hidden until it is too late. Let me explain what I mean. The human body is a finely tuned system. Our sleep cycle is one of the most sensitive parts of that system. When it starts to shift, especially during the day, it often reflects a change somewhere else in the body or mind. One of the first things we look at when someone reports excessive daytime sleepiness is the possibility of a sleep disorder. And the most common one we find in seniors is sleep apnea. This is a condition where breathing stops and starts repeatedly during the night. It interrupts deep sleep, leaving the person tired the next day even if they think they slept through the night. According to a study published in the journal Sleep, nearly half of adults over 65 may suffer from some form of sleep apnea. The condition often goes undiagnosed, yet it is closely linked to high blood pressure, stroke, heart disease, and even memory decline. Then there is another possibility: depression. Older adults do not always experience depression the same way younger people do. They may not feel overwhelmingly sad. Instead, they may feel tired, listless, unmotivated. They may sleep more than usual or struggle to stay awake during the day. The National Institute on Aging has found that depression is often underdiagnosed in seniors because people assume fatigue is just a part of aging. But it is not. Persistent sleepiness that interferes with daily life is not a normal part of growing older. It is a reason to pause and ask why. There is also growing evidence that daytime sleepiness can be an early sign of neurodegenerative changes in the brain. A large study from the Mayo Clinic showed that older adults who reported excessive sleepiness during the day had an increased buildup of tau protein in the brain. This protein is closely tied to the development of Alzheimer's disease. The study followed participants over time and found that those with daytime drowsiness experienced faster cognitive decline. Another study from Johns Hopkins University examined over 1,000 older adults and found a strong link between daytime sleep and higher levels of beta amyloid in the brain. This is another protein tied to dementia. The researchers concluded that excessive sleep during the day may not just be a symptom of cognitive decline, but could also contribute to it. That is why we cannot ignore this sign. But it is not just the brain we must consider. Daytime sleepiness can also be a signal from the heart. When the heart is not pumping efficiently, the body does not get enough oxygen. That can lead to fatigue and sleepiness, especially during the day. Congestive heart failure and atrial fibrillation are two common conditions in older adults that often begin with subtle symptoms like this. In fact, a study from the American Heart Association found that older adults with excessive daytime sleepiness were more likely to develop heart failure within the next 3 years than those who were not sleepy during the day. Let me share a story with you. A patient of mine named VJ was 74 years old when his daughter brought him to my office. She said he had been falling asleep in the middle of conversations. At first, they thought it was just age catching up, but I asked him a few simple questions. Did he snore? Yes. Did he wake up gasping at night? Sometimes. Was he unusually tired during the day? Always. We sent him for a sleep study. It turned out he had moderate sleep apnea. We started him on treatment. Within 2 months, his energy improved, his memory sharpened, and he stopped falling asleep during the day. The answer had been in his sleep all along, but more importantly, by treating the apnea, we may have also reduced his risk of heart disease and cognitive decline. Now let me be very clear. A little tiredness once in a while is normal, especially after a big meal or a poor night's sleep. But when daytime drowsiness becomes frequent, when it interferes with your ability to stay awake, stay engaged, or stay active, that is when we must ask more questions. Are you getting 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep at night? Are you snoring? Are you feeling low or uninterested in things that once brought you joy? Are you experiencing any changes in memory or attention? Are you taking medications that might be sedating you without you realizing it? All of these questions matter because daytime sleepiness is often not a condition by itself. It is a sign. And when we treat it that way, we give ourselves a chance to catch something early, to reverse something before it gets worse. I always tell my patients that the body never lies. It may whisper instead of shout, but it speaks, it gives signs. Sleep is one of the clearest signs we are given. When it changes, we must listen. We must explore. Not with fear, but with curiosity and care. Because catching a problem early can make the difference between losing independence and staying active, between forgetfulness and sharpness, between decline and dignity. So if you are noticing daytime sleepiness in yourself or in someone you love, do not ignore it. Bring it up during your next doctor visit. Ask for a sleep study if needed. Look at your nighttime habits. Evaluate your mood. Review your medications. These small steps can make a tremendous difference. You deserve to feel awake. You deserve to feel present. And you deserve to understand what your body's trying to tell you. Because the truth is, your health is not just measured in tests and numbers. It is measured in how you feel, in how you function, in how you live. If sleepiness is stealing your days, let's not wait. Let's find out why. Let's protect the life you still have ahead of you. One day, one night, one answer at a time.